Hello, welcome to Prepper Nation. John, thank you very much for being here. When is the last time that you went roller skating, son? Totally random. I get it. We have a roller skating rink. I promise this has to do with the video, okay? We have a roller skating rink here in town, and old John tried it a while back, and I was all over the place. I was trying to show people I still had it, even though I never had it to begin with, apparently. Anyway, this video is going to be all over the place. It's going to be like mission. I'm going to try and tie it all in together at the end, or I'm going to fail miserably. Sometimes I do that as well. Again, welcome. Thank you for being here and doing all the YouTube stuff. So, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. How many times have we heard that expression here in the prepping community? So, it doesn't really apply for me. And I know for a lot of you, you're probably already saying, some curse words out there, maybe. I don't know. But you're like, no, that doesn't apply to me. All right. So I got into a interesting discussion with a friend here locally. Got two friends that are going to be helping me out with the channel at the beginning of the year, but we'll get to that when we get to that, right? And one of them was talking about that expression. It's a globalist expression, a Soros special, if you will. You will own nothing and you will be happy. But he thought, hey, this is going to start taking effect in the year 2030. And I'm like, no, it's already taking effect. It's already happening. And that's kind of the topic this morning. I want to make people aware of what is happening now. And I want to make people aware of what I believe is going to be coming in the near future. I hate to use the term bad feeling or I got a bad gut feeling. Y'all know this. I hate when other people say it, but sometimes it applies. And today it does apply. I've learned to trust my gut on these things. Doesn't happen often, but sometimes I'll get a gut feeling, right? So I want to start with the different generations. And I'm going to try and make it make sense. Again, I'm going to try and tie it together, but I'm not very good at magic. So, starting with baby boomers. Baby boomers, there was this big trend. I can't remember what they were called. I think they were Lionel brand trains. But I can distinctly remember meeting some older folks when I was young, and they were into collecting trains and things. Like it was a big deal, apparently, way back in the day. And some people probably still collect trains, but most don't. Most don't. That demographic is basically aged out. Not a lot of people collecting trains in 2024, right? But teach their own. Then you get into Generation Jones. I didn't even know this generation existed. I'd never heard of Generation Jones before, but as I looked it up, this was the generation where they coined the term keeping up with the Joneses. Okay, so it does make sense. This generation collected Elvis memorabilia, the Beatles, maybe Marilyn Monroe. And again, some people still do that. They'll collect this stuff, but there aren't very many. There are a few diehards, I guess, still, but there are not a lot of people collecting that kind of stuff in 2024. Bringing us to my generation. Oh, yeah, the greatest generation of all time, right? You should all think that about your generation, Gen X. So for us, video games, which to this day I collect, the old cartridge games and things, sports cards. I can remember Michael Jordan sports cards being the thing to collect. Maybe VCR tapes and horror movies and stuff like that. But we're starting to age out, and I'm doing this mad dash behind the scenes. I really am, folks, trying to collect as many old cartridge games as I can before they disappear. DVDs and things like this. I thought about VCR. Y'all know this. I'd mentioned it previously a couple of times, maybe on Patreon. I'm not sure. But I've been collecting DVDs and Blu-rays and games and things because they're disappearing. Stores A year from now, you're not going to be able to walk into a big box store and find Blu-rays anymore or 4K movies or anything because they don't want you to own anything, right? We're tying it together here. Bringing me to Gen Z and Gen A. All right. Two different generations, but a lot of similarities that we're going to go over. Gen Z, for example. Gen Z, and this is statistically speaking, y'all can Google it, cha-cha, whatever you want to do, son. Yahoo, is Yahoo still around? They're not buying houses. It's not necessarily a money thing. They have no desire to buy houses. Like all of the previous generations that I just mentioned, boomers wanted houses, Generation Jones wanted houses, Gen X, we got mortgages and things like this. Gen Z, they don't care. They don't want homes. They're they've gotten away from the idea of home ownership, which in itself is a lie, right? Because you don't actually own it. You don't pay taxes. It gets confiscated. But I digress. They're more about studio apartments, smaller, apartments and things like this. They're into minimalism. And I'm not bashing minimalism. I understand the concept. For those that don't know, minimalism is like you pick your 10 or 12 favorite things and you just get rid of the rest, right? You minimize the clothes in your closet, declutters a lot of stuff. I get the concept. But again, for me at least, it plays into you will own nothing and be happy. And Gen Z seems to have embraced this. They've also embraced the van life culture. Now, I'm not talking about the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden van life culture where you can't afford anything and you're homeless and you're living in your vehicle. I'm talking about people that choose to live in a van or choose to live in an RV or something like this, or something big enough to live in for one person or what have you. People are choosing to do this, not only to save money, but again, they've embraced the minimalism lifestyle. And all of this leads to, again, you will own nothing and you will be happy, in my opinion. These people in this generation, Gen Z, and not every single person in Gen Z, of course, there are going to be exceptions to the rule. There are probably some watching this. And God bless you if you are, right? But there's really no ambition for that particular generation to own anything. Most of the stuff that they have, it's easier. I was just talking about the reason I brought up movies earlier, or even video games. I want to own it. I want to be able to watch it anytime I want, ad free, pop it in. There you go. Red Dawn, perfect example. Go watch it if you've never seen it, son. I got it on Blu-ray. Got both of them on Blu-ray, actually. If I get the hankering to watch Red Dawn, I put Red Dawn in the Blu-ray player, and it fires up, and I'm watching, and I'm in pure bliss. Gen Z, they don't approach it the same way. They stream it. They don't actually own it. They stream it. They're paying a subscription service. They're getting hit with advertisements because that's the game now. Everything is going to, it seems like, either a subscription-based model, and it's getting crazy. Some of the fancier cars, which I do not own, by the way, they have heated and cooled seats, but you have to pay subscription to use the heated and cooled feature in the vehicle, which is nuts to me. Pay $10 a month, you can turn the heat on your seats during the winter. Everything is turning either into a subscription-based model where you're constantly paying, you're a constant consumer, but you own nothing. Get what I'm saying? You own nothing. Or a free model where you are YouTube is a perfect example. My God, I'm so tired of seeing political ads. Can I get an amen on that one? Is anybody else sick and tired of seeing political ads? I'm just throwing it out there. It's gotten ridiculous. But again, I digress. The point is, the free model, you get bombarded with advertisements and they harvest your information. You have to log in, you have to sign up, you have to do all of this stuff. They're making money off of your personal information. But it gets worse. That's Gen Z. That's Gen Z has accepted that as normal. Generation Alpha, that's an entirely different ball game. So Gen Alpha, I think, born 2010 and beyond. So they're just coming into their own, if you will. They're not all of them are adults just yet. But the interesting thing about that particular generation, Gen Alpha, they've only known a digital world. They don't remember the world before the internet. They don't remember a world before smartphones. Smartphones and tablets and iPads have been a part of their life since they came out of the womb. And because of this, they have normalized so much stuff. Remember again the phrase, you will own nothing and you will be happy. People like us, we're sitting here, we're pissed off about it. Like, no, I will own. I'm stacking it to the rafters when it comes to physical media right now because I see what's coming. You're not going to be able to find this stuff very soon. But Gen Alpha, they've normalized it. They don't want physical media because they've never really known physical media. It's all streaming. 7 hours of screen time for them. Remember, we had this chat. Somebody said, quit lecturing me, son. I'm not trying to lecture y'all. I'm just giving you the facts. Average American, 7 hours screen time per day. To Gen Alpha, that's not an issue. That's normal. To me, okay. To me, it's not normal. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to get off on a little side tangent here for a second. But I remember life before the internet. I remember the first time that I got exposed to the internet. My Uncle Scott, God bless him, he passed away, but he had a computer set up. He had I think it was a 28.8 modem or something. I don't remember. It was really slow, but it was top notch for the time. He said, what do you want to look up? I said, WWF wrestling. Let's look it up. It took forever for the website. And I was like, man, this is really cool. I like this. Then I had a friend, Joel. First time I ever played online gaming was there. It was a very crude game, like 12 players flying through the sky in these little janky looking planes. I said, this is neat. But shortly after that, I started to see a change in people, like almost like they became pod people or something. You know what I mean? Since that time, I've watched the internet and social media consume people that I know and love. I've watched marriages be wrecked by social media. It's a fact. All right. I've lost friends because they are so connected to the internet world that they don't live in reality anymore. I've lost family members because of this. I mean, they're still out there and I still love them, but they are so deeply embedded into the internet that real life does not matter anymore. And I've watched this happen in real time. This is one of the many things I have against the internet, to be honest with you. But this is normal for Gen Alpha. 7 hours of screen time, streaming and downloading and never owning anything. They have no ambition to own anything. They don't want to own homes. They don't want to own cars. Again, debatable that you own any of that stuff to begin with. They don't want to own physical media. Nothing. They want an itty-bitty studio apartment with an internet router and a TV and a computer and a smartphone, and that's it. And they live a virtual existence, kind of like the movie The Matrix. And this leads to, there have been studies, multiple studies done, where it leads to social anxiety. It leads to depression. I see this all of the time. Okay. I think it's an anxiety thing. I don't know. I've dealt with anxiety. Y'all know this if you've been here for a while. And I still haven't figured it out completely, but I will see people walking out of a school or walking out of a store, something like this. They're parked 20 feet away and they pull their phone out for 10 seconds as they're making that walk. Or they'll be in a social setting and there's other people around, and that comes out because it's like a security blanket, the smartphone. People don't know how to interact anymore. They don't know how to have a conversation anymore. Attention spans have gotten so short. That's why TikTok is booming right now. That's why YouTube is pushing YouTube Shorts. They're trying to compete with TikTok because people can't watch a video for more than 8 seconds apparently, or 10 seconds, whatever it is. I'm not very familiar with TikTok, but I know it's no good. I know that when I go to the doctor's office and there's 20 people sitting in the waiting room and 19 of them are on smartphones and I'm the only one reading a hardback book, there's a problem. I mean, these are pod people at some point. You know what I'm saying? I'm done ranting on the internet, I guess, for now, because I gotta move on. I had to write this down. I saw this the other day and I said, this is where I said I had a bad feeling, a gut feeling. This is no good. So Elon Musk, who we are going to talk about later this week in depth, okay? Huge topic there. But one of his companies, because he's making spaceships, he's making, electric cars, he's making all kinds of stuff. He's invented what is called the Optimus robot. I think it's version 2. If you want to Google that, they're roughly $20,000 is what they're estimating the cost is going to be when they launch this, okay? And it's an AI-driven humanoid robot. So for me, this is problematic. This is Skynet here, son, or Battlestar Galactica. But again, Gen Z, they're going to be all over this. Gen Alpha, they're going to be all over this. This is big time. They're going to embrace this wholeheartedly. This thing can do chores. The next one is really why I wanted to make this video, okay? Because it has a feature where it's AI driven, where it does sleep monitoring. Again, this is an AI humanoid robot. So this thing is like 6 foot tall. This thing has the ability to stand in a corner, watch you sleep, watch your mannerisms as you sleep, harvest and record information in order to let you know how you can get a better night's sleep. This is scary stuff. Number one, that ain't happening here at the Ponderosa. I'm not going to sleep with a robot over in the corner watching me. Right? I'm sorry, I don't trust it. Number one. Number two, as much as I would like to think other people wouldn't trust it, they're going to embrace this. Promise you. And that's the real scary part for me. The robot, I'm just not bringing into the house. Not happening. I'm to the point now where, I've got an older iPhone. When this thing dies out, which it's on its last leg, I'm getting a dumb phone. I'm downgrading. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not embracing the technology that's coming. I know we can't fight it. There's no fighting the future, but what happens here in this house, I do have control over. So it's not happening here, but people will embrace this. They will celebrate this. And this is the very scary part, because you can take over a nation with boots on the ground for sure. But it's easier if you can control people's minds. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a deep subject, but think about it. Do we need to come in boots on the ground if we're the World Economic Forum, for example? Do we need to send in the blue helmets to try and take things over? Or do we convince the younger generations, hey, this is how it needs to be? You want this. They're going to have the younger generations begging for more. And that is how they're going to take control. I don't know how this lines up with the mark of the beast. I don't pretend to know. Some people mention that in the comments. And again, mad respect, but I don't know how that's going to play out. But I know right now this is being implemented. You got to step back and look at the entire force, okay? It's been going on for a while. You don't own your home. You may have a deed to your home. You don't pay taxes. They're going to take your home. That sounds like a rental to me. That does not sound like ownership. You don't own right now with a smartphone. You don't own your shopping habits. I keep mine in a Faraday bag like 80% of the time, but you don't own your shopping habits. Companies know your shopping habits. They know where you like to shop, what you like to buy, what time you like to shop, et cetera, et cetera. Applications. I'll give you a prime example here in a minute, but applications harvest your data constantly. Anytime you download an application, it's going to tell you, we need access to the microphone, we need access to the camera, we need access to your camera roll, we need access to your contacts, everything. You're giving everything away when you download an application. Perfect example. We saw a commercial on TV. We thought we were going to save a little money, Miss Nation and me. Yeah. Subway, buy one, get one free. I think it was the foot-long subs or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, we'll hit them up. We got to go to Walmart anyway, right? There's a Subway in there. And we get there and they're like, oh, no, you have to download the app. I hate that term, by the way. App. You have to download the app for that. And I'm sitting here thinking, so you want me to give all of my information to you for a 12-inch turkey sub? What is going on right now? How can people be this stupid? Everybody's life is tied to their smartphones. Some people are taking chips. They're getting chips implanted into their body, which again, that's Mark of the Beast stuff. That's getting into scary territory. I don't want a chip in my wrist. I don't want a chip in my forehead or whatever the case may be. And now they want to monitor your sleep. Yeah, you can't get away from these people. These people are going to continue to take and take and take from you until you have. This makes 1984 look like a full-blown democracy in comparison. When you can't sleep without being monitored and having your data harvested, this is scary stuff, folks. And unfortunately, this is what's coming. I mean, this is the future. This, again, is one of the several reasons that I'm going to be pulling back from the internet, because I'm not living in that world. The world around me may be living that way, but I refuse to. And so, again, it is called, what did I do with that? It is called the Optimus Robot. And again, I think it's version 2. If you want to Google that and look it up, it's scary stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Take care. God bless.